Well, thank you all for being here today so that we had the opportunity to tell Texans about our state's preparation for the arrival of Hurricane Ike. Before we begin with that, I want to just remind everyone and ask them to take a moment to remember where we were 7 years ago and honor all of the lives that were lost in a very tragic moment in American history. I also want to remind you that 7 years ago there were 73 members of Texas Task Force 1 that was on that pile of rubble in New York City. Those same individuals are out doing sweeps of our coast. They're in preparation for what is a very dangerous storm that's coming Texas' way. So keep them in your mind, keep them in your prayers. They are on the leading edge of a response team. I want to emphasize what a dangerous storm this has the potential of being. Latest estimates show that Ike's going to be moving ashore within the next 48 hours, packing winds in excess of 120 miles an hour, and a storm surge that could reach 14 feet or more. And I want to emphasize the more. You're going to see a slide in a moment of Galveston under Cat 3 and Cat 4 conditions, and it is a stunning slide that shows the potential impact of this hurricane coming in at this particular point along the Texas coast. My message to Texans is that in the projected impact area, finish your preparations, because this is a storm that can have extraordinary impact on them, on their personal belongings, and it's on its way. If your local officials tell you to begin to evacuate, follow their instructions, and follow their instructions closely. As we speak, Ike is a Category 2 storm, but it could very well intensify to a Category 4. That would make Hurricane Ike the strongest storm to impact the Texas coast in the past 3 years. Now, with that said, let me say that we're ready. We've been preparing for this. Our Division of Emergency Management, under the leadership of Jack Colley and Steve McCraw, they're executing a massive effort to assist our state, all the local officials, in moving Texans out of harm's way. We just finished a conference call. I think, Jack, you said 2,650 plus people were on it from all across the state of Texas. We've activated key personnel and resources, including 7,500 of General Rodriguez's Texas Military Forces personnel in helicopters, cargo planes. We have an active evacuation of the Galveston area with 6 C-130s from the Texas State Guard, more than 1,300 buses that will help those who cannot self-evacuate, more than 100 ambulances for citizens with special medical needs. Our local officials have the authority to mandate evacuations, and they've done so in 4 counties: Brazoria, Jefferson, Matagorda, and Orange. Voluntary evacuation orders are currently in effect in Galveston, Jackson, Nueces, San Patricio, and Victoria counties. Let me again emphasize that the public must heed these evacuation orders to protect themselves and their families. Our responsibility at the state level is to support those local leaders with the resources that they need to prepare their communities to weather this storm. Then, obviously, the recovery after the impact. And that Jack may, or Steve, one of the two, may share with you in a little more detail about Texas Task Force Ike that we've stood up, which is far going back in after impact and the recovery side of this. And it's standing up in San Antonio as we speak. It's ready to assist in that response and reentry effort, and to ensure the continuity of local government in those impacted areas. It includes Texas Task Force 1 and 2, Texas military forces. It has our federal partners involved, DPS, other state agencies, our private sector partners, and then the mass care organizations that are involved. And as soon as the storm passes over, this team's going to roll into the affected area and get to work supporting the local communities and their leaders. It's a big storm. I cannot overemphasize the danger that is facing us. It's going to do some substantial damage. It's going to knock out power. It's going to cause massive flooding. Our goal is to protect the people of our state from those effects to the best of our abilities. And as we always do, we prepared for the worst, and we're going to continue to pray for the best. And with that, let me open it up to any questions that you may have for myself, and I want Jack to step up to the mic here just a moment and show you a couple of slides that I think are stronger than our words about what this storm has the potential to do. Jack, you want to?
Thank you very much, Governor. Hurricane Ike, as the Governor has said, presents a clear and present threat to the state of Texas. This is what Corpus Christi looks like, and as you know, we've tracked Ike now for several days. It's made 9 major changes in those tracks. Given a Category 4 hurricane, you can see what that inundation zone would be. As we move up the coast to Aransas, currently these are the areas that are threatened. You can see the impact that a Category 4 hurricane would have. Now we're getting closer to the strike zone that's currently under effect, and that's the Matagorda area. You can see again what a Category 4 hurricane would do in terms of the inundation. These are surge zones. These are a surge tsunami. This is not rising water. This is water that it goes beyond just rising. As you get into Matagorda again, and Matagorda has evacuated. They've done all the right things. They are clear. You can see again what this surge would do. Again, the same thing in Matagorda. Now let's move into the Houston area. You see Texas City, Galveston, these areas. Now you look at the effect of a Category 3-4 hurricane. This is the one the governor wanted to emphasize, and that's the city of Galveston and Galveston Island. That's the effect of what we're looking at today. That's reality. That's not a given what we would do. If you take it to another Category 4 level and take it to the other surges, you can see the clear and present threat that we face here today. So that's the threat we face. We've faced it, and we're prepared to respond to it. Sir?
Let's open it up to any questions that those of you in the media may have for us.